Have you ever looked into a fish tank and just watched the fish? They just kind of hover. They don't have eyelids. They don't curl up in a little bed. So it leads to a really common question. Do fish even sleep? We see our dogs and cats do it, and we know we need to do it. But what about all the other animals? The world of animal sleep is so much more fascinating, and honestly, weirder than you might imagine. It's full of incredible survival strategies and abilities that sound like science fiction. So, let's start with that big question. Do fish sleep? The answer is a definite yes. But they do it in a way that's totally different from us. Since most fish don't have eyelids, they can't close their eyes. Instead, they enter a state of rest. They'll find a safe spot, maybe near a rock or some plants, and their activity just stops. They float in place, and their bodies just power down. They're still. Their breathing slows, and they become much less responsive to what's happening around them. But if you were to nudge one, it would wake up and swim away, just like you would if someone poked you. Some fish have even more bizarre habits. The parrotfish, for example, actually creates a sleeping bag out of its own mucus every single night. This gross-sounding cocoon protects it from parasites while it rests. Okay, so fish sleep. But what about animals that can't just hide in a plant? What if you're a giant animal on an open plain, like a horse or a zebra? Lying down for a nice, long nap is basically sending an open invitation to a predator. So, they evolved an amazing solution. They can sleep standing up. It sounds impossible, but they have a special system of ligaments and tendons in their legs. It's called the stay apparatus, which is a fancy way of saying they can lock their joints in place. This lets them stand with almost no muscle effort, allowing them to doze off and get light sleep without worrying about falling over. If danger appears, they're already on their feet and ready to run. Now, for the really deep, restorative REM sleep, they do still need to lie down. But they only do this for short periods, when they feel completely safe. It's not just about predators, either. Sometimes, it's just about the environment. My favorite example of this is the sea otter. How do you sleep in the middle of the ocean without drifting away? Well, sea otters have figured it out. They often wrap themselves in long strands of kelp to anchor themselves in place. And, in a behavior that's just as smart as it is adorable, they will often float on their backs and hold hands with each other while they sleep. This keeps the group, or raft, from drifting apart in the current. Now, all of that is pretty amazing. But what if I told you some animals can sleep with only half of their brain at a time? This is where it gets really wild. It's called unihemispheric sleep, and it's a superpower for animals like dolphins and many birds. Dolphins have to do this to survive. They're mammals, which means they have to come to the surface to breathe air. Even when they're sleeping, they can't just shut down completely, or they'd drown. So they let one half of their brain go to sleep, which rests that side of the body. The other half stays awake and alert. It controls their swimming, tells them when to surface for air, and keeps an eye out for danger. After a while, they'll just switch. The resting side wakes up, and the active side goes to sleep. Birds use this same trick. During long migrations, They can rest one side of their brain, while the other side keeps them flying and navigating. And when a flock of birds is roosting, the birds on the edge of the group will often use this half-brain sleep. They'll keep their awake eye facing outwards, literally watching for predators while they're half asleep. So, it's not just how they sleep, but how long. And this varies wildly too. Some animals are true marathon sleepers. A brown bat or a sloth might sleep for 15 to 20 hours a day. On the total opposite end of the spectrum, you have animals like giraffes. Because they're so large and vulnerable when they're lying down, giraffes often get by on just 1 or 2 hours of sleep per day, usually taken in tiny 10-minute bursts. And what about hibernation? Is a bear in winter just having a really, really long nap? Not at all. Sleep is a daily cycle your brain needs. Hibernation is a whole different state. It's a deep metabolic shutdown designed to save energy during extreme cold and when there's no food. A hibernating bear's heart rate and breathing slow down dramatically, and its body temperature plummets. It's not sleeping. It's in a state of suspended animation. So, from fish floating in place to dolphins sleeping with one eye open, the world of animal rest is an incredible example of adaptation. It shows us that sleep isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. It's a fundamental need for survival, and nature has found countless amazing ways to get it done. To read daily fact-based articles, head over to www.zentara blog. And don't forget to visit our Zentara blog YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe or follow this podcast on Spotify for daily episodes that will expand your minds.